I'm early because I actually got that set up faster and easier than I thought I'd be able to. Can you hear me? I'll warm up a little bit. Where this thing is going. Let's see. Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me okay? I am getting ready to live stream at 3 and oh, there's Paul. Great. I'm so glad to see you. Paul, can you hear me? I'm trying to use this earpiece because I think it'll sound better. Great, thank you very much. I'm a little bit early. I was just going to play bass for a couple minutes and let some people kind of come in, and then we'll do a little tour of the truck and chat. This is the bass that I made with Arbortech tools. Arbortech is the company that put this whole thing together. It's a pretty cool idea to give us all something to do. I'm not going to talk about all the negative garbage that's happening right now because I know we're all feeling it. Instead, I'm just going to hang out with you a little bit and I'll show you around the truck and do a Q&A, whatever you want to do. But I brought this bass from home because I honestly haven't had a chance to play it too much. And I thought I could, since Arbortech is putting this whole event together and I carved this whole top and the neck and everything with Arbortech tools, I thought I'd bring it out. What do we got here? Sorry, I can't understand that language. Does anybody know how to keep the chat up so I can see it? Super chat, what does that mean? Top chat? Good day. Superman. I'm trying to figure out how to run this. I'm doing this off my phone and I do not have Wi-Fi here. So I'm going to try and do my best to keep this going. I'm a little bit early. Oh, here we go. If I just touch the screen, it comes up. Great. I think I get it. Cool. All right, I'm going to play for a few more minutes and then we'll chat. I never get a chance to play anymore. It's just kind of nice to sit in here in this echoey truck. And yeah, hey, how's it going, guys? Yes, live chat. I think that's what I have. Thank you. Oh, here we go. Live chat. Great. Oh, let me see if I remember it. It's for you, Jackman. That's the intro guitar riff to Freebird, so that's all I remember. Whoops. Playing the bass is not like riding a bicycle. It does not come back without practice. So, how's it going, everyone? Let me see. Bonjour from France. Thank you very much. Thanks for the kind words. And everybody else, welcome. I'm trying to figure out how to run this chat so I can see all of your conversations. Here we go. Hey, Mike. What's going on? Maker78, good to see you there. So, thank you very much to Arbortech for putting this together. I wanted to show you my truck a little bit. I stopped early to do this, and I'll show you what I did. I'm gonna have to go around the side. So basically, if you're not hip to what's going on with this truck, I bought this old bread truck, and the idea is to convert it into like a mobile guitar store, which is why I'm sitting in it playing the bass. I'll show you the whole truck in a second. So there's a whole vlog series going on my channel about this. You can go watch all that and check it out. It's it should be interesting. Of course, I want to do it, you know, using as many reclaimed materials as possible. And I'm starting to get to the point where we have some stuff to see. So I've got the inside gutted, and the plan in here is to try to keep it as open as possible, but then also have it packed full of guitars. And the idea would be when I go to trade shows to like pull this truck up by the front door and just open it up and have it almost like a Disney ride where you can kind of walk through and you know, enter this way and kind of come out with the guitars displayed, and you know, like a little mini kind of store. People do this with clothes and stuff all the time, but this might be the first guitar truck. I don't know. So that's what I'm doing, and I've got sponsors like Arbortech and a whole bunch of other sponsors that are helping me make this video series. So that's going on my channel. You probably already know this if you're part of the early the early adopters that jumped right in on this this live chat. So inside the truck here, the plan is to insulate these walls. And then I went, and you might have seen in some of the earlier vlogs, I was going through this pallet wood like it's going out of style. I was making Paul Jackman look lazy. And I cut all these pieces here. You can see I cut them on a bias, and the idea being that they can then slot together because it's pallet wood and it gets sort of, you know, it's wet and it's gonna curve and stuff. So this way, when I put these together on the wall, there's a little bit of space for them to sort of warp and whatnot and not expose the truck behind. So the entire walls are going to be set up with that, and I have a system I'm going to put together to where I can actually remove the panels and then continue to do work and run wires and stuff as that type of stuff comes up. So you'll see all that coming up in future videos. For the ceiling, I want to put acoustical insulation. I'm actually trying to get a company to help me out with this. I've got a couple I've been talking to put some like nice eco-friendly acoustical insulation in the ceiling of it. There's a couple different ways of doing that, you know, some wool-based and old denim, stuff like that. I want to insulate the whole truck as green as possible. But so for the ceiling, I want to get this stuff in so we can cut down an echo, but then when you put wood over it, it just kind of echoes off the wood and it doesn't actually help. So I'm going to make panels out of hollow core doors for the ceiling that have cutouts that expose the material that's inside. And hey TJ, what's going on, man? That expose the material that's inside, so it'll give us something for the sound to bounce off of. Right now it's very echoey. It sounds like a giant tin can in here because it is a giant tin can, so it's gonna be a little bit of a struggle to get it to sound good, but then still have it look cool. I was thinking of putting a carpet in. You know, I got some ideas. So besides all that, there will be, you know, displays, a bench for sitting on to try the guitars out. I'm gonna have some battery-powered amplifiers in here. Working on all those details. I'm gonna have a closet where if I wanted to sell T-shirts or something, I could. Yeah, for the ceiling, shapes cut out kind of like guitars. I'm thinking about doing more like my logo is like the arrows. And so I thought I would take arrows and do something sort of artistic with it so they're all sort of pointing around. I'm going to do lots of arrows in here. Guitar shapes, I figure there'll be enough guitar shapes just from the actual guitars, but I am planning on displaying a couple guitars on the wall, and I was going to do like a guitar shaped kind of cutout to sort of hold them in there in place, and then you can pull them off and play them and stuff. So we'll see. I'm going to have like a workbench here kind of where that blue tape is and storage for, you know, some tools. So I can do like guitar setups and stuff. But it'll be pretty nice. So the people will walk in. This chair here, step out so you can see it. This passenger chair comes out. Howdy from San Diego. Yeah, it's not sunny here today. Jackman, thank you very much. Yeah, let me know. This chair comes out, so it actually makes this whole entrance kind of nice. And you can, the idea will be, I'll set it up like a one-way thing with all the watch your head kind of signs on the all that stuff. I've been talking to insurance companies and everything, of course, all the boring stuff. But then you'll be able to walk in through here and walk out. Right now I can't walk out there, but as you can see, that is the extension of the truck. And if we go outside, you get a better idea what's going on there. Aloha. It's good to see you, man. What time is it there? Like tomorrow? Yesterday? So, I'll talk about the front of the truck in a minute. Oh, hey, TJ. Actually, I'll tell everybody right now. Tomorrow at the same time, 3 Eastern, I am going to be live streaming with Vance. And we are going to, yes, Palo Wood Interior, we are going to do a little bit of power carving, Vance and I, and answering questions and stuff. 9 a.m. in Hawaii. Nice. It's a good way to wake up, I guess. Noon on the West Coast. That one I could do. I didn't know what Hawaii's time zone was. So, well, actually, while I'm here, the front of the truck, this is the, hey, what's going on, man? Arbortech is a sponsor of this truck along with several other companies. And I wanted to do a project that really showcased power carving in this building. Hey, Andy, good to see you. Vance will be here tomorrow with me, 3 o'clock, same time, buddy. So what I'm going to do with Arbortech is, hey, Narwhal, I'm going to take this front grill off the truck, make some kind of a steel frame that I can then bolt back on, and then I'm going to make marimba keys out of wood that hang off of this truck. I'm going to power carve them with Arbortech tools and have a little cup here with like some sticks that are like chained to the bumper or whatever. So it'll be like a musical grill. That should be a lot of fun. We got a lot of people coming up, some from Connecticut. Simsbury, hey Matt, what's going on, man? Nice to see you all. Hey, what's going on, man? So the graphics on the truck, I gotta watch the mud here. It's pouring today. Derek from Square Splinters, go check out his YouTube channel. I've been talking with him about, he works in a sign shop by day, and we're talking about doing like a vinyl wrap in like the main part of the rectangle of the truck. So that should be pretty cool. I'm really looking forward to that. And then I wanted to do some stuff with hollow core doors and some cutouts. Hey man, what's going on? Cheers, man. Thanks. Punk rock all the way. So we're gonna do graphics on the side, some kind of, you know, my typical style using doors and stuff, and then also like a proper wrap, because we can't let the van look too creepy. You know, want people to walk in. But the best part is what I've been working on the past couple days, and I've got it all framed up. Unfortunately, I can't walk on it yet. But hey, Carl, what's going on? Nice to see you. That's right. You're on the road. Everybody, check out Carl Jacobson. He's in the house, and he is doing some of these Arbortech videos through this weekend. In the description, there's a link. I'm not the only person doing this, but all today and tomorrow, there are all sorts of makers all over the world literally doing live streams, thanks to Arbortech for putting it all together. So if you go to the description or just go to arbortechtools.com, there's a banner. You can link up to it and see everybody else that's going on. But so right now it's my turn. And you can see here my tailgate. When I bought the truck, thanks, Paul, it had a busted garage door on it, and that was fine because I had no intention of using it. I wanted to do this tailgate idea. One truck I was looking at actually had a like the hydraulic lift on it and stuff. There will be hollow core doors involved, Birdie, don't worry. But so I didn't need something that heavy duty, and I wanted to do this. What I've got set up right now is I have a winch that brings this steel frame down that I've just gotten finished together, and we're going to wrap this all up. Old school shop learning. It'd be kind of cool to get someone that does pinstriping to do some of that too. I mean, I have some ideas for doing some DIY stuff with some of my sponsors and some of the tools that are helping me sponsor the truck, of course, but it would be cool to get like a pinstriper maybe to do something on there, like real old school. But yeah, so check this out. I can't really stand on it yet because I don't have the parts, but there's going to be fold down like trailer legs on here, and then the winch just winches this whole gate right up. And if you go into my Instagram stories, you can see it. I think I got some shots of that, and I'll have more, videos and stuff coming out, of course, about this. Happy birthday, Jared. So it works pretty well. The underside of this will be covered, when you're driving, it'll be closed and you want it to look cool. I'll do some logo stuff. I have a couple ideas. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do yet. One thing I was thinking about using was, besides my hollow core doors, of course, is some of this material, which is the aluminum that I pulled out of the ceiling of when I was ripping that out. So I have a bunch of that. Might be something like aluminum and wood on the back. And then there's going to be a stage floor built out here. I've got a lead on this reclaimed oak flooring from like the 100-something years ago. Maybe newer than that, but early 1900s. I'm going to use to do like something cool for a floor. I'll probably have to put some underlayment. What about milk glass? Interesting idea. I'd have to do it on both sides though, because I need a floor on there, but that would be cool. I was thinking about cutting out a hole in the ceiling to let some natural light in, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. I am talking with a company called Mill Supply that's going to help me get some of the truck parts that I need, and I'm hoping to get a ceiling fan to put in there to keep it from getting too hot. But yeah, so that's the basic idea of what's going on with this truck. I wanted to just give you all a little tour of that, and from here, I figure I'll just do a Q&A with y'all and do my best to answer questions. It doesn't have to be about the truck. If there's anything in my shop you want to see, any questions about anything, and I don't think I need this in my ear. And we'll just take it from there. Hey, Tech Fireman, what's going on, man? Okay, so I'm gonna come back in the van here. I think it'll sound a little better because it won't be as windy. And maybe we'll go to the console, captain's chair. Okay, Paul is just trolling me this whole time. I have a question that no one has ever asked you before. Are you going to put the little truck in the big truck? You know what? The little truck would have already been in the big truck if it weren't for these wheel wells. See them right there? So because of that, like, I'd have to build a ramp inside. Yeah, that's been asked a few times. That was the first thing we thought of. And now that I built this tailgate, I could actually, before I put the legs on it, I could drop it all the way to the ground and drive right up it. Except for those wheel wells, I'd have to build something else. Okay, have I ever made a banjo? No, I have not made a banjo. I was talking with someone once about potentially making a banjo, but it ended up just not happening. I don't know much about them. I have a feeling it'd be like a steep learning curve. I used to have a banjo Lin that my grandfather gave me. I don't know what happened to it. It was an antique and it was busted. It was barely playable. It wasn't playable. It was pretty interesting. No, my least favorite tool actually is Paul Jackman. not my favorite. Okay, what do we got here? Drive it up on the wheel wells and lift the gate. Yeah, that's because I could drive up the gate and then I would just need a couple of little ramps to get up onto the wheel wells. But then I'd have to build it out because it would, like, the wheel wells would be in the middle of the wheel, so I'd have to extend it all the way out and make little platforms for it to go on. But the whole truck only weighs 1,500 pounds. So, I mean, every skill. Like, I don't think I have any skills. I think I'm learning them all as I go. I'm definitely, like, I know a little bit about woodworking. I know a little bit about metalworking and stuff. I'm interested in sewing. That's something I have a sewing machine I picked up when I did that TV show a bunch of years ago, and I always wanted to kind of work on that. I just haven't gotten to it. What instrument you haven't done yet and would like to? There's a couple instruments that I have on my list. One is bass 6, which is like a guitar and a bass had a baby. It's 6 strings that are tuned the same way as a guitar, but an octave lower and usually a little bit shorter. That's on my list. What are some other instruments? I want to make a drum kit. I got some ideas for doing that out of hollow core doors, of course. Any thoughts on making a time piano? You mean like a thumb piano where you flick the things? I did that at the library once with a bunch of kids. It was pretty cool. What are they called? Thumb pianos. It was called. If that's what you mean. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It'd be kind of interesting to do something bigger with that idea. Are you going to paint any of your upcoming instruments? I have one actually. You know what? I can give you a little sneak peek of it. I have one that I'm working on right now. I've been talking about it because I've been working on it for months, but it's like uh, it's just a long process. We're kind of reinventing the wheel. Um, but this is a band from New York called the Ether, and they play traditional Chinese instruments, but then they also do like electronica. And this is a painted instrument that I've been working on. It's basically a five-string electric pipa, and I painted it as you can see. It's basically done, but we're still deciding what we want to do with the metal on the sides, if we're going to powder coat it or if we're going to leave it as it is. But so this is a little bit different for me. It's not reclaimed, but it was just a really unique and interesting opportunity to try something new that I wanted to try. So there'll be a video on that eventually. This is something I've been working off and on for months. We'll sit in here for a minute. Okay, let me see. I can figure out how to. All right, where were we? Going to paint. So there's one. I did some painting in the past too, where I painted and kind of messed them up. I have another guitar I'm working on right now that is going to have a sort of specific look too, and we're going to paint a little bit of it, like maybe 20% of it, make it look like all the paint has been ripped off of it. It's kind of this whole thing, and there will be some type of video about that as well. We'll see. All right, I see there's some kind of battle going on here. The only skill to practice is patience. Yeah, very well put, man. If you stick milk glass plastic on both sides, you can put LED lights in the stage floor. Yes, I could. I could do that. That would be interesting. So part of the stage floor too is that I want to be able to use the truck with it closed, like, and not have it feel claustrophobic and have it look cool. So I want that floor to be attractive, and something like that would be really interesting. And it's not a bad idea to consider. Like, I'm planning on doing LED lights in the ceiling, of course, and I'm also planning on putting solar panels on the top to power the lights, as well as some other stuff in the truck to take the pressure off the battery that runs the truck. And I was thinking about doing lights like kind of up the walls and ceiling. It might be cool to incorporate that into the floor of the stage as well, so they could be. Yeah, you know what? Thanks for that idea. I'm gonna think about that. Hey, Troy, what's going on, man? Welcome to your show. You can't possibly watch all of these. There's so many of them going on. Um, okay, what do we got here? How do you stay positive in such a negative world? Matthew, that is such a good question. And it is so difficult to stay positive. And uh, I used to be a lot more negative. Um, I, I'll tell you the sort of the short of it. When I was younger, I was cooking. I got this job as a chef, and I was working really hard at trying to like prove something, like make money, be successful, and all that garbage. And I was unhappy. I was working 100 hours a week, and I was unhappy, and I was very grumpy, and I was like the chef. I was the guy yelling at everybody. I swear. And I was in my early 20s, and I thought that was what it meant to be successful, was to be the guy that yells at people and has a desk and all this garbage. And then my best friend from high school got sick with cancer and died within a year. And he was 24, 25 years old. I was a year older. And I was like, you know what? F this. I was like, if life can just go like that, I do not want to spend another day of my life being unhappy or doing anything I don't want to do. And I quit, and I've been just pursuing my own dreams ever since. I know that's easier said than done. And it's, 20 years later on the other side of it. It's a very truncated version of my journey. But I found that when I'm angry, it doesn't actually help. And when I'm upset, it doesn't actually change anything. The only thing that makes a difference is action. And the other thing I know is that if I act in a place of irrational emotion, I'm usually making the wrong action. So I try and I get angry. I just taught Vance a whole bunch of new words the other day. I messed something up on the CNC. That happens. I'm human. But I try not to let that part of me take control, because that part of me doesn't make things better, doesn't make a change, and isn't really enjoyable to be around or live in. So I try to spend as much time as I can away from that, and just trying to create positive action and positive change. Can't do that from a negative place. So I hope that answers your question. A little deep for like, hey, let's have fun in live chat. Double neck guitar. I did make Esh, is that how you pronounce your name? I'm sorry if I said it wrong. If you go back in my channel, I made a detachable double neck guitar. There's a bass that slides on. You can slide a wing off. If you search multi-tar, you will see that. And if you want me to make you a double neck guitar, I would love to. You can email me and I'll make it for you. I can't make them all the time. He stores up. I do take out most of my negativity on Paul Jackman. It's a great outlet. So I highly recommend everybody else do that too in their comment section on Paul's videos. Is Tim one of you? Okay, if you want to ask Paul questions, you can go to this chat. Good afternoon. Sorry, Paul, that I didn't get a chance to hang out on yours, actually. I know you're doing like 17 of them, but I was busy actually working today, so trying to get this tailgate back on the truck. Any chance you would play El Saguaro for us today? I don't think I remember it. Hang on. I made these light up cacti, some 20, I don't know what the number was, 36 or so. In the store windows is where they all will go. I guess everybody wants the chorus, right? El Saguaro, that's my name. The king of Arizona, the Mexican shore, the Mexican plains. El Saguaro, that's my name. And all those other cacti, I'm putting them to shame. I was talking to my buddy. He has a tape studio. He records all on 2-inch tape in northern Connecticut. It's called Red Room Studios on Facebook. You can find him. And he's been setting up the studio, and I wanted to actually do a proper recording of that song with him on 2-inch tape. I thought that'd be a lot of fun. Okay. Hey, what's going on, guys? Hello from the Pacific North. Hello from the Atlantic Northeast. I guess we can call it that. Disco ball. I'm not quite sure what you're talking about, Carl. For my truck, should I put a disco ball in? I think if the ceiling were a foot higher, I could. But when the stage folds out, I haven't fully designed it all yet. It's kind of one of those things I have to design as I go. But I'm gonna have some kind of railings that pop in, and I'm planning on having the railings hold guitars because I'm thinking about safety, and I'm thinking about this potentially attracting a lot of people that just want to walk through it that aren't even really customers, which I welcome. So there's going to be some steps that come down off of it, and I was thinking about railings all the way around to the steps, maybe hanging guitars, and then potentially putting an awning on the back of the truck or some type of pop-up tent that goes over the stage for when bands are playing. And it might actually be really funny and cool to just have a disco ball like hanging outside just in the sunlight, just like make some big pole that goes up and hangs over. And that's the cool thing about this truck, is that the sky's the limit. Like I plan on having it operational. And hopefully we'll be able to actually see each other in person in October to go to the Maker Camp, the Catskill Mountain Maker Camp up by Jimmy Dress's house. And my plan is to have that truck there and operational to some capacity, but I don't think it'll ever be done. Make the floor of the stage look like hardwood using hollow core doors. I'm putting hollow core doors in the ceiling, and I'm using some hollow core doors for some of the siding. I might use hollow core doors for the underlayment. I was thinking about using pallet wood and hollow core doors. I'm definitely going to use hollow core doors on the outside of the truck in some places. But then this opportunity to get this hard oak, reclaimed oak flooring came up, and they're all shorts. So the guy's willing to sell them to me for pretty cheap. That's my buddy Joe over at Urban Miners. He sold the large good pieces, but he has like 100 square feet of it left over. And so that's like, who's going to buy that besides someone like me? So I got a pretty good deal on that. And I'm just going to do that. Interesting phone. A Guigan or Guigan, I'm not quite sure. 7 string Chinese musical instrument. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Those are cool. I've got when I've been making this pipa that you can kind of see behind me. I'm supposed to be making another instrument for this band. Um, so this is an erhu, a Chinese erhu, and it's a 2 string violin fiddle thing. The bow goes between the strings, which is kind of interesting. They traditionally have a python skin head, although I'm sure that's not real python skin. I got this for $40 on eBay. So I'm making an electric version of one of these for the same band, or we're still working it all out. And normally you just sort of, your fingers are just sort of in the air, just stopping the strings, but we're talking about putting a fretboard on it. You can see a proof of concept here, and actually fretting it to make it more like a precision rock instrument. It's going to be electric. Yeah, super cool band. The band is called the Either, like either or. And if you search like the Either band, you'll find them. They're very interesting, and I'm looking forward to getting this pipa in their hands so I can hear it because I can't play it. Insulate, yes. I've been talking to companies about green insulation, some eco insulation. I'm trying to do a trade with them, and partly for warmth and partly for sound. Troy, you're going to go for it all? You can't go out and sell right now, right? What state do I pledge to? I live in Connecticut, if that's what you mean. So I'm about 2 hours from Boston, 2 hours from New York. It's one of the nice things about where I live. When I was a performer and a musician and whatnot, that came in handy because I could play a pretty large market, without, and still sleep in my own bed. I think the comments are pretty heavily delayed on video. Maybe, I'm not quite sure how this all works. I know I'm doing this from my phone too, so I don't know if it's like skipping out. Who knows? But hopefully you guys are able to enjoy this and it's all working for you. Hey, what's going on, Fred? Thank you, Matt. Thank you very much for using speed. Okay. I think it's fine being angry sometimes. I just don't dwell in it. So do something with that energy. That's exactly. I think that's a shorter way of saying what I was trying to say. I know we're all human, right? It was Corey. It was 100% your machine's fault. Anything. Listen, this is Corey from Avid CNC jumping in here, and I have to tell you that anything that's ever gone wrong on the CNC machine is 100% the machine's fault and not the operator. The operator is perfect. Obviously, I'm joking. It was I did a little story about the hold down I came up with for these blocks. I tried doing my typical. I use well, actually, I use Starbond most of the time. Starbond CA glue and masking tape, and do the two-sided, make my own two-sided tape out of it. And I tried gluing those blocks down and doing that, and it just wasn't enough. And so I had one of them fly up on me, and I was like, oh, geez, I was like, okay. And so, but what happened is the cutter grabbed it and pulled the material up, so it drilled all the way through. So I couldn't even like flip it over and use the other side. And that Delrin's expensive. If you go to my story today on Instagram, you'll see what the stuff I'm talking about. And then the second time it happened, I was not happy because it was totally my fault. Plans to make a fiddle, violin, or viola. I had started making because I have an aluminum double bass. It's from the 30s, and I love that thing. It was my main instrument. I used to call it my office. It was like how I paid the mortgage for years and years. And it drew a lot of attention. And I had a violin player ask me if I could make him an aluminum violin, and I said, sure, I can. And I haven't been able to yet, but I'm getting closer. Someday I would like to. Let's see. Tips. Do I have any tips for anybody that wants to break off and build their own instruments or repair them? My tip is to go start doing it. Every instrument I've made, not even instrument, everything I've made, I know I could do better now. But if I didn't make it, I wouldn't be at the point where I can do it better. So the only way you can get to that point is by actually doing it. And I see a lot of people that are always like, well, I have this dream guitar. They want to make this, it's 9-string guitar with the multiple compounds. I'm like, well, why don't you just start by making a guitar, and do it, and fail and F it all up and take it apart and make it again and 50 terrible guitars, whatever, repair a bunch of, go buy a bunch of cheap guitars and repair them and try and sell them and get feedback from people and see what they dig about what you're doing and see what they don't like. Just actually get out and do it. Don't worry about having all the right tools. Make do with the tools you have, and then get the tools as you can. And you'll see like, oh, I need this, and this file. If you go to like stumac.com that sells guitar tools, I mean, it's you could easily spend more money than you can make in 10 years there buying all these tools, and you don't need them all. You need some of them, and you'll find out which ones you need depending upon the kind of work you're doing. So buy them slowly. You don't feel like you have to have them all. And if you, I mean, there's all sorts of tricks, and that's what's so great about YouTube. Like, there's all sorts of ways to avoid using those tools, and there's people out there that have ideas. So just get out and just start doing it, and then hitting a wall, and then finding a solution, and then hitting the next wall, and then finding the next solution. You're wearing the same hat, Fred? Twins. You're welcome, Seth. I don't know. I don't know what you're thanking me for. Maybe I answered one of your questions, but I'm glad I made your day, man. That's kind of the idea. We're trying to have a good day here. Um, okay. Disco ball arm over the stage. Yes, Dave. That's exactly it. Uh, oh, was it you that asked me to play El Saguaro? Is that what? I know there's like a delay. I'm trying to read on my phone here. Maker Camp 2020. Hey, Michael, what's going on, man? Did you do your thing yet? I know we were in a chat. So Michael Alm of Almfab is also doing this. I don't even want to go down the list of names because I know I'll probably miss them all. But I know Michael's been really good about promoting this whole event and tagging me in, and I appreciate that. After me, from 4 to 5 is Tracy and Katrina, and they're going to be on Arbortech's channel. So again, this is an event that Arbortech put together to just get not all, but a whole bunch of us makers that do power carving and do other stuff to do live content and conversations and whatnot. So if you go to arbortechtools.com, there's a link there, or there's a link in my description on this video, and it'll show you the whole schedule. Today and tomorrow, there's people live streaming all over the world, like literally all over the world. Today I'm just doing this Q&A. I'm kind of hanging out and I'm getting used to it. But then tomorrow I'm going to have my son Vance Maker with me, and we're going to actually use some Arbortech tools. Here, I'll show you. This was the plan. So a couple years ago, Vance got to try out this. Not this. I love this thing, by the way. I used this on that double bass I was playing earlier. Vance got to try out this power chisel at an Arbortech, or at a woodworking show that Arbortech was at, and he loved it, and it was like really cute. We shot a little video of Vance using it, and so they sent this for Vance and I to experiment with, and we're going to tomorrow live streaming. I wanted to do a project that Vance do, so instead of having him, carve a 3D rendering of the Mona Lisa, I figured we'd a little simpler, and maybe just do Starry Night. No, I came up with an idea that I don't know if it's going to work or not. We'll find out, of making like a marble track, so he can just chisel out like a marble, almost like a maze. There's probably a name for him, but so that's what we're thinking about doing. So that'll be tomorrow on this channel at 3 Eastern time. It'll be me and Vance, but I've still got plenty of time left today to continue with this Q&A, and again, other people are doing this as well. And if you would like to see the schedule, go to arbortechtools.com, and or the link that's in my description is a direct link to their whole list of live streaming events that are happening today and tomorrow, literally all over the world, all sorts of time zones, etc. It's really cool. I'm going to find some more questions and pour some coffee. It's a little cold in here today. How do you join the Cool Hat Club? Troy, how does Matt get a hat? Mongolian punk rock. I don't know what that is, but I would like to be a part of it. So if you can find me, you can email me directly from newperspectivesmusic.com. If you have a favorite Mongolian punk rock band, please email me at newperspectivesmusic.com, a link to them, because I would like to check them out. I will mention my favorite, oh my God, their name's going to escape me. My favorite Indonesian punk rock band. I can't remember the name of the band, but it's Sihat Effectors on Instagram. And he makes like these like wacky guitar pedals. I've messed around with some in some of my earlier videos. Hoping to do a collab with him sometime this year. but he makes these really amazing guitar effect pedals, and he has a great punk band from Indonesia there. It's awesome stuff. Making an electric woohoo. Woohoo. Did you ever try using the reclaimed pinball bumpers as guitar knobs? God, I used them for something. I think they were too big. I know a lot of that pinball stuff I actually gave away to people that restore. If it was in good condition, I gave it away to people that restore pinball machines. But I have tons and tons and tons of this wire. You would not believe how much of this wire I have. Actually, where's that box? Like, here's an example. This is like just like one of about 50 wiring harnesses that are inside a pinball machine. And I use this wire for everything, man. It's good stuff. But I don't think any of the bumpers or paddles ever worked out for me in guitars. I should look through what I still have. It's a good idea. I like that idea. Okay, yeah, please send me some Mongolian metal. Or, well, I'm more interested in the Mongolian pop. I'm not as much of a metalhead, but, whatever. Oh, Greg, you're still mad at us about our April Fool's joke on the podcast. So, if you don't know this, I have a podcast called Reclaimed Audio. I do it with Phil Pinsky and Bill Lutz, and we have been doing this podcast for well over 4 years. And it's basically like a maker podcast, one of those things where a bunch of guys get together and talk about a topic and what they're up to. But those two have good chemistry. So, yeah, it's Reclaimed Audio Podcast. You can find it in anything. We've been doing it, like I said, for like 4 years, so we've gotten better at it. And we may or may not have just recorded our last podcast. Is there a toilet in your shop? That is an excellent question, and the answer is no. There's not. There's not even running water in my shop. I have a cold water spigot that gets turned on probably this week. It can get turned on now that the frosting season is over. But most of the year I have to go up to the house. There's a spigot out there that I fill up buckets of water to just have water for paintbrushes and stuff. And if I need to visit a tree, I visit a tree. That's pretty much it. And if I need to do more than visit a tree, I get in my car, drive to the mall about a mile down the road. But nowadays the mall's closed, and if the mall is, besides the mall, there's also a hospital about a mile down the road. That would be my other stop that I would drive to if I really needed to. But I'm not going anywhere near that place right now, so I guess I'm driving home. I can swear. Oh, Steve from Arbortech says I can swear. Steve has given me permission. I choose not to, Steve. I choose not to. Okay, oh, hey, Mike. What's going on, man? Haven't seen you in a while. I'd invite you to come down and hang out, but 6 feet, man. Oh, you're using my kit? Awesome. How's it going? So I sell at newperspectivesmusic.com, I sell a DIY guitar kit. And, well, here, hang on. This is kind of like an example of it. It basically includes this neck, but the headstock's not cut out yet. And the tuners, the neck, the bridge, all the electronic knobs, and there's options for different pickup configurations. So it gets you started, and there's templates, physical templates that you can use, like router templates and whatnot, as well as downloadable templates. And it has a link to about 90 minutes of instructional video where I make a guitar using the most basic power tools and hand tools possible. Like, I don't use stationary tools to kind of bring it to a tooling level. And then you can go up from there, obviously step up from the jigsaw and go to the bandsaw or whatever. But I had so many people asking me questions about how to get started on guitars, and the necks are obviously the hardest part to make. But to make a guitar like this with a pre-made neck is not as hard as a lot of people think, and so I wanted to make that accessible to people. And if you go to newperspectivesmusic.com, you can search and you can find links to the kits. There's I even sell just the templates and the access to the videos if you don't want to spend the money on the parts. But what I did is I sourced parts in bulk. I'm almost out of kits now. I don't know if I'm going to restock them or not because it was a lot of money out of pocket to do it.
but I source these parts in bulk from overseas, and put it all together. And there's been a lot of successes out of it. It's been really exciting to see people make guitars that always wanted to and never thought they could. And then the idea is that once you've done that, go ahead and try and make your own neck, or take it apart and make another one. Or now I've eliminated some of the questions that you may have had. You can go out and source your own parts and do your own thing. So um, check that out if you're interested. Okay, let me see. Back to the questions. I feel like I've been talking nonstop for 46 minutes because I have, I guess. Um, so many doors. Do you have a collection of giant knobs? Working with so many doors, do you have a giant knob and hinge collection? I do. Um, I've recently scrapped a bunch of them because they're all just garbage. Nobody really wants them. But yeah, they're everywhere. It's bad. Where's Lutz? Maybe working, maybe at home. I don't know. Any thoughts about that mini travel guitar I talked to you about at Workbench? I don't remember. I remember having. You'll have to message me about that. I I vaguely remember it, but I don't remember the details of it. So drop me. It's just Tim at newperspectivesmusic.com. You can just email me there. Hey, Avid CNC, Corey, Avid, you're all there. So nice to see you guys. Thank you very much. So I've been talking about the truck, and maybe I'll go back out there in a little bit. Avid CNC is supporting the truck as well. Avid CNC is like my favorite people. They're just so cool, and like they really helped me get into the CNC game and have changed my world as far as making. Like I feel like CNC has made me a better woodworker and maker in so many ways. I mean, I'm better with hand tools because of CNC, because of the way it just sort of makes your mind think. I love that machine. Tim, have I met Fred in person? Do you mean Fred from Brooklyn? No, I don't think I have. Maker Camp 2020. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully, it'll happen. If I thought about building a mandolin, I have thought about building a mandolin. They're a little bit more complicated. There's a lot of strings on there in a very small space, but um, I've thought about building everything. I mean, I imagine most of you in this chat are the same way. You know, just like everything you see, you're like, I can build that. I want to make that. How do you make that? You know, just go through life like that. Instruments just sort of work well for me, and that's where I've been lately because of my whole life and history being about them. You know, mandolin someday, hopefully. Hopefully, yes. Narwhal Labs, which is the maker. If you don't know what Narwhal Labs is, go check them out. They're the makerspace being built by Total Boat down in Rhode Island. So Total Boat is another one of my huge sponsors. They're they're going to be insurmountably important in this truck build because they make stuff for boats. Uh, and this truck is basically like a big land yacht, right? It's made of aluminum, like a lot of boats, and it's out in the elements and whatnot. So they have these like, I mean, most people know Total Boat for their epoxy, which is like actually the thing that interests me least about what they do. They make these great finishes, uh, like this, that is eco-friendly. It's a water based, and even like the packaging uses less material. Like there's all these little things about what Total Boat is doing that I dig. And so they make all these products that are designed to be used on boats, and boats sit in the water, so the stuff has to be safe before it goes into the water. So I've been using their boat soap to clean the truck. I've got all sorts of other stuff here. I've been using their two-part, like it's almost like a liquid nails, but it's like a times 1 million that I've been using to stick stuff on the truck. I'm using it for finishes in the interior and exterior of the truck. Great stuff. And so Total Boat, also super cool people and company, and they are building a makerspace, which is pretty close to me. I'm about 2 hours from there, so I will definitely be, once we're allowed to go out and about and do stuff, I will definitely be going there and doing some projects at this makerspace called Narwhal Labs. So you can go look that up. Jeff Shaw is spearheading the work to put that place together and build it. A bunch of great companies are jumping in to help. There's going to be tools, like all kinds of amazing tools like Avid CNC and Thunder Laser and Maker Made CNCs, putting 3D printers in there. Super cool place. I can't wait to see it. Once the barn doors get open again. And I can't wait to see what's going to be going on there. It should be a really neat space. Let's see what else we got going on here. Instead of Van Gogh or Da Vinci, just try carving a Rothko. Yeah, I'll just put Vance right on, put him on the Rothko. I was thinking Jackson Pollock maybe doing a Pollock. That's actually what I like about power carving. Before I even knew who Arbortech was, I had a burr, cutting burr. I don't know who made it, and I also had that chainsaw blade. That thing is freaking scary. I'll never use that again, man. I never had anything go wrong with it, but it's terrifying. And because I like angle grinders. They're my favorite tool. And what I like about them is that they're a little bit chaotic and they're not about straight lines. Like I like it. I feel like a sculptor and carving. I like that aspect of woodworking, and you don't get to do it all that often. Like everything's always like angles and right at. But there's something about like just like kind of carving stuff out. And in guitars, like I do a lot of the work on the CNC, but there's also just a lot of finishing and shaping things to the hand, and so power carving is really good for that. And yeah, I always kind of say that as a maker and as an artist, I'm definitely more like Pollock than Picasso or Matisse or someone. I'm definitely like a throw paint kind of guy. So maybe we'll get Vance doing that with the power carving, because that's what I feel like with all the sawdust and the chips flying up. Spend a bunch of Troy from Arbortech says spend a bunch of money on Arbortech tools. What a great idea, Troy. I I love them, man. And like I said, tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, I'll be doing this again with Vance, and we'll be using them. I really like power carving. I like. It's a little scary. Like angle grinders are a little scary. I get it. Once you get over that and you understand the forces and the directions, and it doesn't take long. The angle grinder is such a liberating tool. You can just like walk out in the woods and like carve a face in a tree. There's a lot of like really neat opportunities for art that way. I Yeah, Troy's right. You should just go spend a lot of money on Arbortech tools. I see that someone gave me a tip. I don't know who or how to thank them for that. I greatly appreciate that. That is very kind of you. But I would say if you're thinking about, and maybe I shouldn't speak for everybody doing this Arbortech Makerfest, but I'm going to anyways. Instead of tipping us, buy Arbortech tools. Support the small company. and support yourself with it, because you're going to enjoy it. So go to their site and give them money instead of me. Yeah, I need to make a living too, but and I really do appreciate that. But I'm here to support them because they support us so much. I support you guys too. Wait, Troy said he was kidding. He doesn't want you to spend any money, so never mind. I take all that back and give all the money to me. There's still some stuff about Mongolian music. Hey, Eric, what's going on, man? The Who is a current popular Mongolian rock band. The Who. Oh my god, that's hilarious. It's the Who, but it's spelled HU. I know what I'm doing when I'm done here. I am on Spotify. What would you recommend as the first luthier tool to get? If you have zero tools, geez, that's a tough one. I'm assuming I'll answer this on a couple platforms. You have zero tools, right? So you have literally zero tools. Go to the box store and buy one of those kits where they make like one of everything of these tools that use these batteries. They'll have like an angle grinder and a jigsaw and and a couple different drills and stuff. And whether you're going to make guitars or build a boat or be a homeowner or whatever, you're never going to regret having that. And I'm not sponsored by Ryobi or anything, but they make great stuff for a very inexpensive price. And it's easy to get started with their kits where they have all these tools, and that's a way to get started. But specifically for luthier work, now if I'm going to assume that you already have a workshop and you have basic tools like table saws, there's really just a couple simple things. Now, I will mention Skyscraper Guitars. He makes, and this tool is not necessarily one of them, but he makes some great guitar Luthier tools. There are these tools like this, these notched rulers that are used for doing fret jobs, and they come in handy and they're very precision, but they're also very expensive. So I wouldn't recommend buying those first because you can make your own with a $1 aluminum ruler from Harbor Freight, and you just cut it out yourself, right? And then you'll find that as you get into doing it, if it becomes like a job, you're going to want to spend the money on that. Another thing you might want to do is spend the money on a fret bender. Like I used to bend it by hand, and then I made one out of some fidget spinners. There's a video. But then I ended up going out and buying one as I got sort of more involved in it. But the most important tools you're going to want, you don't have to buy the fret pliers. You can just get the regular old bull nips. They'll get you close enough to get started to nip frets. You're going to need some type of fretting saw to cut the fret slots. And it doesn't have to be a fret saw. You look at the diameter, or not the diameter, the depth of the hole or the width of the hole, and you usually want to cut a hole that's about 0.021, 0.022 inches deep. And you can just find a very inexpensive saw like this that will be the measurement that you need. So something like that, just, a very fine saw for cutting your frets, because that's the hard part. You're also definitely going to want digital calipers. You can get the dial ones that save a few bucks. Spend the money on digital calipers. But the most important thing you're going to want are some good files. And just one fell. This is just a regular, bastard file or whatever. Oh, that's right, I'm not swearing. It's a regular jerk file. But then there's also I have this very small one. I use this one all the time on the files. You might want like a triangular file. And here's a trick: if you grind off all of the teeth on one side of the file, so two sides are still sharp, but the one side isn't, and so that side now is the flat side against wood, and it's not going to cut the wood. That's a nice little trick. And then the other kind of file you will need is a fret file, and you can see it's like a radius file that goes over. So these would be like, if you're going to do like refrets on guitars or build guitars, the fretwork is the hardest and the most challenging part. So spend some money on frets. They make a file. Check this one out. There's like, if you go to the StewMac catalog or whatever, there's a file for filing down the edges here. It's like a wooden block, and they make them in different grits. I just epoxied a file onto a block of wood, and that works just fine. So a lot of these you can make yourself like that. And here's the biggest secret for once I'm done doing all that fret work and I need to sand them and polish them. I started about 320 grit sandpaper, and I work up to about 2000. And all I do is I rip little pieces off. This is a bunch of plastic dog poop bags that my buddy gave me. It just happens to be what he uses, but it's my yeah, I can pull the tape off the side. See, it's just a roll of like plastic bags, so it gives when you squeeze it. So I wrap, and then I can here. I have my neck all taped up, of course, when I'm doing this, and now I can sand, and I can kind of get all around and push down, and it goes and contours to the fret. And I polish all the way up to about 2000 grit with that. And then here's the other secret. I shouldn't be telling you guys all this stuff. After I've polished at 2000, this is a fingernail polish thing from like a salon. It's a rough side and a smooth side, and go rough side, smooth side, and they'll shine like mirrors. Buy these in bulk for like 50 cents a piece. All right, that's all the secrets I'm sharing. Everything else is mine. First, where were we? Maker Camp 20. Sound of rummaging. Where's that box? Most relatable thing ever. Steve from Arbortech will take any and all metal suggestions. Okay, so The Who It's my favorite Mongolian metal band. Let's see. ADD Maker, hey, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Your battery's dying. Mine might be too. I have no idea. Listening to Yatka. Start with the. I'm learning so much about punk music from Mongolia right now, which is not what I expected to be saying today while doing this. What do you think to the wood and metal combo on Jimmy Dress's bass guitar? I loved that bass guitar that Jimmy made. You can see, I don't know how long you've been in the chat, but I've been working on this for a few months. It's a little bit different, but it's a Chinese pipa. It's got that sort of wood and metal look. And I watched that video, and I loved the way that he built that body around, and it gave me some ideas to do something a little bit different that I'm hoping to get to, but sort of based on that. Is that the Graz coin behind you? Yes, it is. If I were a nicer person, I would give it to Graz. I don't. It's a mirrored version. I'm assuming you're seeing this not mirrored, but so it says, United States of America, heads I win. And then on the back is a cat's ASS, tails you lose. I made this as a CNC experiment. When I got my new Avid CNC, I wanted to mill some aluminum on it, and I wanted to see how sort of detailed I could get with it. I learned a lot about milling aluminum. I can do this so much better now. But yeah, this is fun. There's actually another story about it, but I can't tell you yet. Hopefully someday I'll be able to. Oh, cheers. My father-in-law bought me this thermos about 2 years ago for Christmas. Man, I love this thing. I have hot coffee all day. Hey, what's going on? Greetings from, oh my God. So we got SA Maker from South Africa. And, my God, I'm flaking on your name right now. What's your, why use your real name? I can't remember your name right now from Australia. I'm gonna keep looking. You'll type your proper name in. Man, Isabel, so much hand carving. Would you do that by hand, or can you program the cutter? Excellent question. So mandolins and violins involve a lot of hand carving, and asking if I would do that by hand or if it can be programmed into the CNC. Now, since Arbortech is sponsoring this, I would say, oh, I would of course use my Arbortech tools to carve it like I did my double bass. But when I do this for Avid CNC, I would say, well, of course I would program that into the CNC and carve it. It depends. Honestly, like this guitar here, this needs some carving. I'm going to carve like a arm or a belly cut rather on the back, and then like the arm cut here. And I'm going to do it with my Arbortech tools. I CNC'd this obviously, but I can program the CNC to do that. But sometimes it just the operation time of the CNC is so long, and it's just faster for me to do that. And plus, with this wood that's got like nail holes and rots and stuff, sometimes I get inspired. So sometimes I will carve it on the CNC machine, like my necks I carve on the CNC machine, and then I usually have a little bit of finishing to do by hand to make it look and feel the way I want it. Like that's where the artistry comes in. Sometimes it's really about trying to push the CNC to get the details exactly as you want. I'll show you an example. I've been working on these fish molds. So this is and then they make these. It's for my buddy that works at a children's museum. They make this like a fishing game. There's like magnets and stuff. And so I 3D model this, and the idea for this is to have the CNC machine do absolutely everything. And so so I designed it as a, it's two sides that get put together. I designed it as a 3D object, and then I invert it to make these molds. And this is an example of trying to get something perfect right out of the mold. There's a place for both in my work. I've definitely carved guitars on the CNC, and I've done them by hand, and it depends upon the particular guitar which way I want to go. All right, what else we got? Is the stage going to have fold down or wind down legs? Yes, if you're just getting here. I was talking about that a little earlier. So the stage here
I have a winch up top with just one spot in the middle because the winch will get retracted once it's down. That lowers the tailgate up and down. And then I have them on order, so it's going to take me a little while to get them to make. I was going to make something, but then I found these things that are like $40 each, and they're camper like things, so they go up sideways, and you can spin it down and then crank the foot down, and they make them that they're high enough. So that will go. I'll put 4 of them because I don't trust the hinge connection here to hold weight if there's a lot of people, so I want to have legs, in all 4 corners, just to be on the safe side. And so yeah, those 4 legs will come down and take care of that. What boots do I wear? Very funny. If you don't know, I'm sure everybody watching this knows that about the suede Carolinas. These are the original. I just swapped them out. These are the original ones that we made in Pennsylvania like 2 years ago, and I filmed the process. The video's on the channel, and I've worn these basically every day since. The soles have finally worn down. The uppers, I tell you, these are better than leather. Like, nobody believes me, but it's true. Better than leather. But so I just got a new pair. I just put them on yesterday, and I've been wearing them all day, and they're like already broken in. Such great boots. I can't take credit for that, but things to come in the future. Normal lives. 100-watt CO2 laser. Some laser conversations going on. There's my thunder laser right there. Haven't seen C. I'm still here for the Who. Square. Here's my original one. I hit it with the table saw, so don't do that if you have a square. Okay, what time is it? We're gonna wrap this up in a few minutes. I'm not in a rush to jump out, but I did want to tell you that Tracy and Katrina are, I think it's Katharina, I think I'm pronouncing that right. Tracy and Katrina are up next in this Arbortech Live Makerfest thing that's happening, and they are over at Arbortech's YouTube channel. So if you go to arbortechtools.com, there's a link and a list and all of that, or you can just search Arbortech on YouTube and you will find them. But I'm going to stick around here for a few more minutes and answer a few more questions. Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, and before I forget too, I said it before, but I'm doing this again tomorrow at 3 o'clock with Vance, 3 o'clock Eastern. So that's 9 a.m. in Hawaii. I know that now. Tomorrow, I think I'll just do it from the shop. I was going to bring my, do it from home where there's Wi-Fi, but this hasn't been skipping a lot, right? Has everything been working okay? I'll find out tonight. I'll go kind of look at a few minutes of it. So yeah, tomorrow, me and Vance will actually maybe make some sawdust, unless it's raining, but we'll see. So you can ask Vance some questions too. You can tell all your secrets because you made it look like too much work. Oh, when I was giving all my guitar secrets, yeah. It is a lot of work, but the more you do it, the faster you get, just like anything, I guess. You are welcome for the advice. I'm glad I could do that. Who are you? Hoo, H-U-H-U. Hey, what's going on in the Wood Lab? Hey, Marcus. Thanks, man. I actually made something from all those reclaimed doors yet. I have made all sorts of stuff. Here, I'll show you. Oh my God, look at this. Can I flip the camera around? Hang on. So this is, I rent this barn, and there's some people that live up in the house up here. And they have a cat. And the cat just went in my truck. Where is it? Oh, kitty, kitty. Oh, I must have ran out the door. Where's that cat? One time I had to shoo it out of my shop. I was afraid it was going to get locked in there at night. It's pretty funny. It never lets me pet it. But it's always in my stuff. So yeah, I had gotten that batch of 40-something doors, and most of them have been used. Over here you can see I just recently picked up another stack of doors, and we started in the last vlog on the truck, we started tearing them down. So you can see all these
all these skins, and then there's more of them over there. Because I'm not super efficient with them. Like there's a lot of, like I got pieces of them up here in the ceiling and some strips over there. A lot of it just gets wasted, I admit it, because it's not worth trying to save it, like the labor. So I just cut the ends off. You can't really save it on the ends where it's been glued on. I learned that lesson, and so I just cut the ends off and you end up with a lot of waste, but it's less waste than those doors just going right into the landfill. But yeah, I've used a lot of them. I use them mostly just like cutting out templates and parts and cutting stuff, because I can throw it right in my laser and just cut out little bits and pieces, and it works really well. God, I use those things all the time. Do you give classes on making guitars? No, I haven't given any classes. I do the YouTube thing, and I do have, like I said, this guitar kit for sale. That when you buy the kit, it's giving access to this 90-minute long class, I guess, on making guitars with the kit specifically, like sort of beginner guitar making. So I've had ideas over the years of doing more teaching and stuff. But at the end of the day, I really enjoy being alone in my shop, and so teaching this way online is a way that I can kind of do that. And I don't think I'm like God's gift to making guitars or anything, but I can make these videos that are sort of educational, and that way because the last thing you want to do is sort of die in a void, and I had this great idea, and then you never share it, so I try to do all that online, maybe someday I'll do classes. I don't know if you can get Arbortech in South Africa. Troy or Steve, if you're still here, or go to another chat and ask that question, because my time is up now. It's time to go over to Tracy and Katharina, who are on Arbortech's channel, and the guys from Arbortech are monitoring the chats and stuff, and so you can ask them the questions. I was here earlier. I was asking about building an acoustic guitar out of guitar strips. Would reclaim wood from construction site, so I was thinking I would cut the strips. Oh, hey, I remember that, Kyle. Yeah, this guitar is strips of wood that are glued together and shaved thin, and it is possible. I mean, this is only a couple strips, but there's no reason why you can't do that. It's just a lot of work, and pine is not necessarily the most forgiving wood. But so what I would do is, if you want your finished thickness to be like, less than 1/8 of an inch, 0.1 inches thick or whatever, start at 1/4 inch, glue them together to get your block, so that we can get some good adhesion and stuff, and then plane it down to get it to the thinness that you want. And if something cracks, just glue it and keep going. And it takes time and it takes patience, but anything's possible. And that is a great way to learn a lot about woodworking, for sure. Doing it the hard way, you learn a lot. Not guitar strips. Tim wears you. I know you wear my boots. Damo, thank you, Damien. Damo, couldn't remember your name. Crying out loud. Hey, Words and Wood, you just popped in, and we are just about to wrap up. Yellow Mug, thanks. Thanks, man. Thank you, everybody who was here. I see the numbers are starting to dwindle because it's the hour's over. And thank you, Steve. I appreciate everybody that came in and played along. I'm trying to just catch up on these. Good. I would love to sell you a guitar. That'd be awesome, man. So I hope everybody gets through this, and the world gets back to normal sooner rather than later. So hopefully for a bass, I do not make bass kits yet. I've been thinking about trying to do that. It was a huge expense for me to do the guitar kits, and I'm almost sold out of them. Now that I'm selling out, I'm thinking about maybe trying to find some other way of doing kits where I don't have to actually spend the money out of pocket, like getting a supplier to just sort of ship direct or something. We'll see. It's on the bench, or in the brain hole. Hopefully I'll get to it. Fellow scout jobs. Hey, thank you very much, man. I'm glad that you got to watch us and enjoy it. I appreciate everybody taking the time to do this. Thank you all. That's a good. Just wanted to say, your philosophy of making has inspired me greatly. Oh, dude, that's awesome, man. I'm glad. I'm trying to encourage people to just slow down and think a little bit about what they're using. You know, I mean, I don't use only reclaimed. I try to use it as much as possible. It's not just about the environment; it's also about money. It just makes sense to me. Like it just makes sense. You know, there's the three R's. They always talk about reduce, reuse, and recycle. And recycle is the last one on the list. Reduce and reuse are the first two. So the first thing we need to do as responsible global citizens is reduce the amount of stuff that we use. Second thing we need to do is reuse the stuff that we have already continued to use after the reduction, and then when we can no longer use it, that's when we recycle. And it just makes sense. And I don't understand why it's political. I don't get that at all. It doesn't. I mean, everything about it. You know, even if you believe the Earth is flat, everything about that makes sense. Then again, if you think the Earth is flat. Okay, thank you all very much. I'm going to wrap this up now. I appreciate all of you, and I will see you tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern with Vance, and we'll do it again. What's it that? Is there a maximum thickness that you can have your body? The thicker it is, the quieter and heavier it's going to be for an acoustic guitar. Thin is in for an acoustic guitar, and that's where it gets really tricky with that work. So, all right. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Arbortech, for sponsoring this. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 3 o'clock Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Hawaiian time. Be good. And we're done. I think this button